Okay, Cosmic Baddies, quick pause. If you are so ready to call in your next chapter, you need to get into my workshop, How to Make a Vision Board That Actually Works. This is not your typical Pinterest collage situation. I'm teaching you the exact method I have used to manifest some of the biggest things in my life, like 2 babies in 1 year, our Soho apartment, our Montauk beach house, and yes, even my dream book deal with Penguin Random House. In this workshop, I blend astrology, neuroscience, and intuitive magic to help you create a vision board that actually manifests. You get the recordings, the templates, the workbook, the joy, the giggles, all of it. So if you're ready to design your destiny, head to CosmicRx.com/highervision and grab your spot. That's CosmicRx.com/highervision. Your future self is waiting.
That's what I want people to really understand, is that you listening to this right now, I'm talking to you. I'm literally talking to you. You are powerful. You are important. You are on this earth during this transformational season, during this powerful transition for a reason. We need you. And if you're here and you're listening and you like us and you haven't turned this off, it's because you are a part of the beauty and the love and the change that is coming.
Welcome to CosmicRX Radio, a podcast that gives you real-life tools of spiritual empowerment and pure hype. I'm your host and intuitive guide, Maddie Murphy. I'll be serving up your weekly energy readings, cosmic boss interviews, and astro inspiration. Are you ready to love yourself more, manifest your dream life, and own your magic? Let's jump in. Hello, my cosmic baddies. If astrology isn't real, then why is today your luckiest day? I am excited to serve up a very special episode in honor of the end of this calendar year and the beginning of much magic ahead. In honor of that, we have on the absolutely adorable, lovable, magical, miraculous Zoey Greco, who I know so many of you are big fans of, who's going to be collabing with me today to talk about a little bit of WTF just happened this past year. How can we make sense of it? How can we just reflect, digest, process it all so we can turn it all into fuel to be our baddest bitch self as we go into 2026. And we're going to be talking about the numerology of it all, the astrology of it all, and just the psychic intuitive energy of it all, from politics, pop culture, and just also on the personal level. So everyone at home, give a big round of applause to Zoey, my fellow weirdo witch and fabulous wrist accessorizer. Hi, Zoey. Welcome.
Maddie, I'm so excited to be here with you. You know, I'm a huge, huge fan of you. I love everything you're about, everything you do. And I think getting to explore 2025, give it a little bit of like a retrospective look back through astrology and numerology, and then also kind of begin to explore what we can look forward to next year, because I have a feeling this is just one of many conversations we're going to have of this type and variety. So I don't want to give too much away about 2026, but I think that there's some really powerful medicine that we can reflect on and like truly integrate and receive from the year that we've just gone through as a collective, and then begin to explore how does that support us in moving forward into new intentions and new initiatives as we enter a new year. So I'm ready to yap and lock in.
Let's yap. Let's lock in for the baddies, for the cosmic baddies, for the crybabies, for the collective. Okay, so we always like to look back. This year was a portal. This year was a vortex. Like this year felt like the blink of an eye, but also felt like 1,000 eons of a century in one. And I'll be talking about the astrology. And I think this year in astrology, I've tried like my best to go in through all of my most nerdy outlets and teachers and resources and really find out I don't think we've ever lived through a year, definitely not anyone alive right now on the planet, but like even since astrological history has been recorded, a year that had as many monumental shifts all at once as
Yeah.
this year. So I'm going to be talking about that and asking you some of your thoughts and opinions on it. But first, because you are such a brilliant numerologist, I thought it'd be cool to have you walk us through the numerology of this past year and what it signifies. And, we can go from there with some other little goodies, but walk us through what was happening in the numbers of it all this year.
Yeah. Thank you for asking that question because I feel like, well, thank you for asking it the way that you did, because I think we really do need to acknowledge the immensity and intensity of 2025. And as someone who was alive during 9/11, as someone who was alive during the pandemic, I feel like even those, very profound, like kind of monumental moments that we move through and experience as a collective, this year felt different. It felt like an initiation of some kind.
Yes.
So when you use the word portal, that felt really, really apt to me. It felt like this journey into like a wormhole into deeper levels of truth. There was a lot of unmasking that happened this year, a lot of things being brought to the surface. And I think on a personal level, before I even discuss the numerology of this, think about all the times that this year you felt personally shocked by the people in your circle, or like the people surrounding you, or the people even in like your exterior circles. I feel like all year we were just constantly like, oh, this person believes this, or this person, like the shock of understanding where we are actually in dissonance with people, and the comfort of finding where we are in resonance with people. And I think a lot of our circles of influence reorganized themselves both on a personal level as well as on a collective level. And that is actually something to be expected in 2025 because according to numerology, 2025 was a collective year 9. When you take 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5, we get 9. And we in numerology move in cycles of 9, which means that this was the end of a 9-year cycle. So very much the way we feel in like decades, numerology moves in 9s. So in a year 9, it is a year of completion, closure, conclusion, but it is also a year of endings, of shedding, of release, of letting go. And it's also the number of humanitarianism and wisdom. And so you might be thinking to yourself, this year wasn't feeling very humanitarian. It was actually feeling very threatening and challenging. And if you think about it, ultimately, what I witnessed through the lens of numerology this year was all the ways that the larger forces that govern us were in sort of this battle. Like there was kind of this very strong feeling,
Yes.
and I don't know if you felt this way too, but like this feeling of being in between these two forces and watching those forces battle for like my autonomy and my influence and like my like battling for the reality that I live in. And as we watch those forces at play, what I really witnessed was all of like life's shadow, and especially in the United States, like we're both US citizens, but we both have global, populations that listen to our shows. And at least here as a US citizen, it really felt like patriarchy, traditionalism, white supremacy, Christian nationalism, like these very old things fighting for their life. But as they're fighting for their life, they're being brought to the surface to be witnessed in their shadow. Like at the beginning of 2025, I said, America is about to do its shadow work in front of the world. And so it did.
Yes.
Because we need to face the things inside of us that are dysfunctional, that are not working. And so this year, for instance, in the United States, we watched the crumbling and became aware of the fragility of democracy. And as that happened, it was fear-inducing, panic-inducing. I mean, I think mental health professionals they were booked busy beyond most people, as I think also, intuitive and spiritual practitioners were as well. People were seeking comfort because of, the shock of that experience. But we have known that there was corruption and there was corrosion underneath these things. They have to dismantle. They must be dismantled. And so as people were like feeling fear and doubt and concern, what I saw was, oh yeah, the magic is working. It's happening. Life is in motion. And this is what needs to happen. We need to see, we need to acknowledge, we need to witness where our systems are unable and unsustainable in their ability to support us. Where are our systems failing us? Let's name it. Let's look at it. Let's witness it. Let's acknowledge it so that in the name of humanitarianism, in the name of wisdom, in the name of unity, in the name of love, we can rebuild in something more true. And so, in order for that to happen, we've got to go through this period and this part of letting it crumble and letting it die. And when nines come up in people's personal numerology, like when I tell someone they're in a year 9, they're always so panicked because they're like, it's going to mean a breakup. It's going to mean like, what am I going to lose? We always ask the question, what am I going to lose? And what I always like to invite people to understand about 9 is that 9 does not take anything from you. I have butterflies in my stomach as I say this. 9 does not take anything from you that is aligned or in your highest good. 9 only removes that which is in misalignment. It only calls on the conclusion of that which is unaligned. And so in that name and in that energy, watching systems crumble that need to be rebuilt, finding that there is passion and desire in the people to salvage the good of those systems and remake those systems in the image of that good. We really saw that on a wide scale this year. And I think the exhaustion and the fatigue and all the things we're feeling are the result of like doing this deep shadow work. Like think about how you feel after you're in ceremony or after you're in session. Like you feel exhausted, but you feel exercised. Like it is, you've exercised the demons. Like that's what it felt like this year was like, we are exercising our demons and we are letting them out. And that is the beginning of healing. That is what healing looks like. But this is what we've avoided. We haven't wanted to do this work. We've wanted to ignore it. We've wanted to bypass. We've wanted to not acknowledge and not believe that this needed to happen. And I'm not just talking about the United States. We're seeing this on a global scale. The unrest on a global scale was profound. And I'm here to say, good. It needed to happen. It is in the highest alignment and it is leading us somewhere beautiful, healing, helpful, supportive, uplifting, ascensional. I mean, it is the medicine that we have been begging for, even if it was subconscious.
Yes. Okay. A woman to that. Aho, ase, so it is, so may it be. And that is, everything as you're talking, I'm like, it's so interesting because I always like do this work kind of like this time of the year. I'm really like doing my deep dive, going full like Hermione Virgo mode on like the next year and the astrology and the nitty gritty and the numerology. And so I always like sit at this precipice and you're kind of like, okay, what's it going to be like? I remember this time last year being like, okay, like what is this 9 year going to bring? And then I was saying this to you before we started recording. You can have the plot points. You can get the synopsis, the paragraph review, description of what the year is going to be, and then you live through it. And you're like, oh no, that 9 really 9'd. Like that 9'd really hard, and
she 9'd so hard this year.
She 9'd hard. Like she left it all on the field. Like the 9'd, and I am here for it. And I also, before we started recording, said that one of my intentions of chatting with you is to offer people a space to rest and digest and really process and look back on what happened. Because this year was so huge on the energetic level, on the societal level, right? On the mental level, on the like energetic level. Like we're just on the cellular level, like we're different now.
Yes.
And I think this is like, I hope this is a conversation that can help us just sort of land here and make a little bit of sense of what just happened so that, like I said in the beginning, we could turn it into some kind of fuel, some kind of fire, because we need everyone like really regenerated, resourced, feeling in the space of feeling creative and feeling imaginative and joyful and, dare I say, hopeful, because everything that you just said about the 9 year is exactly how I feel. And one of my astrology teachers, so I started studying like macro astrology. It was really interesting. It's obviously like right ahead of Trump's first presidency. And I started being like, what's this all? No, I know. What a time.
Yeah.
What a time to start going into the bigger picture. And I'm sitting there like truly feeling like I took the Matrix, whatever pill and being like, does everyone know? Like we're headed somewhere that we've never gone before. And this is just like the beginning. But I remember my teacher saying like, this is a really big time now. 2020 is going to be like huge, like kind of like the end of the world as we know it. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And there's like, but that will compare nothing, it will pale in comparison to the shifts that we go through 2025, 2026. So then when I was living through 2020, I was like, I'm sorry. Hello, teacher. I'm like, can we come back online? Because how could anything feel more significant than literally the world shutting down? Like, I remember those days in March and April and just being like, there's no one out, there's no one in the parking lots and the parks.
Yeah.
Life has stopped. And living through this year, I understand now because some of the things that I was talking about with people in 2016, 2018, 2020, people starting to sort of wake up and realize, oh yeah, that below the surface, right? There's a lot of corrosion, a lot of erosion, a lot that's been shoved down below the surface that is not working, but we've just been distracted from it, by cause or just by happenstance. And this year was a year that I think I was very surprised by some of the people who were coming out, like you said, who was in dissonance and who was in resonance.
My block list got very long. Sorry, I'm just going to say that. My block list got long.
The block list? Honey, one of the
they could throw a
astrology,
block party in there.
The block was hot. The block button was hot. This year we had a block party because I would be like, surely this is something we all can agree is, we all can agree certain things are just what they are. And then you go on, you're like, oh, it's just like, what's that? What's that? What's that? So yes, it was very interesting. And then on the other hand, there are people who I was pleasantly surprised with of being like, yeah, you know what? Turns out maybe this whole like late stage capitalism, billionaires getting richer while politicians aren't really serving the American people. Like, turns out maybe this isn't really working anymore for us. And I was like, come on in. Welcome. Like the water's warm.
Exactly. That's exactly it. You brought up something really important, and I'm curious to explore this from both the numerology and the astrology, because in numerology, we have our collective year, but you break down month by month into these deeper themes. And you can even break it down day by day, but I like to explore it at least like thematically by the month. Yeah. And you talked about us needing to connect to creativity and hope right now. And December of this year, so this month, is a very, very powerful portal for creativity, actually. Like as you were talking, I was like, this bitch really is psychic, isn't she? Because you are so tapped into the truth and the underlying currents of what's moving through us right now. We are ending the year on a collective month 3. And 3 is the number of charisma, of joy, of optimism, of creativity, expression. I know. And what I'm really feeling, like the images that kept coming to me, and I shared this I do like a newsletter every month where I do like your horoscopes according to your numerology based on your attitude number. And I also do like collective readings, for all of us month by month. And the images that kept coming to me psychically were like, I don't know if you are familiar with what I'm going to talk about, but like in the 18th and 17th century, they did these like satirical marionette puppet shows on the streets where they would like provide commentary on their kings and their leaders and whatever. And that's exactly what it feels like, is like we're about to get so creative in our expression of the way that the collective shifts are making us feel. Like December is the time for expression. It is the time for it's the number of communication as well. So like, it's time for us to tell our stories, write our poems, paint our paintings, stand on our stages. I'm a birthday number 3, hence like the environment that I'm in right now. Like I was born to yap and put on a show. And that's what 3 does. It brings us into our creative expression, but it is also profoundly cathartic because not only are we experiencing the 3 in the 9, so like the expression piggybacks on the energy of release and letting go and conclusion, but it also is this profound portal into joy. Like what better number to move us through the holidays? Like we are all about to be so lit. I think people have been looking forward to the holidays more than ever, even if this year our bank accounts are tighter or like our ability to give is shifted, because we're understanding that it's not about the shit. It's not about the stuff. It's about our people, our community, about the ability to celebrate. Like we are about to feel joy, and it will be a very profound portal that shifts us into the numerology of next year. But I'm curious, like, are you seeing that in the astrology as well? Like, how does that line up there?
Absolutely. And I love that you said this. Such a fun and nourishing, energizing, clarifying conversation for me too. And even as you were talking, it's like, I have felt that interest. I was just telling, I'm usually a big fan of like no holiday Christmas decorations talk until after Thanksgiving. And I was saying to my husband, I don't know if it's 'cause I have two small children, but I was like, oh, I'm getting so excited. Like I want to decorate now. And I
Yeah.
put out all my like candles and like sparkly things and just make it feel as whimsical as all hell in my household. And I think that is because it's like we're craving joy, tradition. And I actually sort of love that this year is really exposing, people are talking about like, let's not do capitalism Christmas, right? Let's support the small business, the artists, let's DIY, let's make things, let's bake things. Let's remember the root. And that's what 2020 did for me. I got married that year impromptu because it was like, oh, the pandemic, the shutdown, all this stuff. So I was like, you know what? Eff it. This is my man. This is my life wizard. I am marrying him. And we did it in 3 weeks. No kerfuffle. Obviously, like we were still fabulous, but it was just like what matters of it. And I was like, oh, wow. I hope like weddings can return to this. And I did see that year, a little bit of like, it's not about the big Pinterest board-esque, like, I mean, that's fine if that's your bag, but it's like we kind of lose sight of the why. And when you were talking, I was picturing 3 of Cups, like the tarot card, and they're all cheersing.
Yes.
I was like, oh, 3 of Cups. And the other thing, 3, that I'll talk about before I talk about the macro astrology is something. So astrology speaks to me as another intuitive language. Like my guides will speak to me, nothing to do with like what's in a textbook about astrology. We're just like, lady, connect the dots here. Like Zoe was talking and you got to mention that 3 has come up a lot for me with people like you who I deeply admire in this space of showing up as a really high integrity human. This concept around the 3rd house, right? And the 3rd house in astrology is our communication. It's our mindset. It's our local neighborhood. It's like our local corner coffee shop versus Starbucks. It's our local witchy bookstore. It's like our little like bodegas and bakeries and things that we go to. And I'm like, yes, December 3, keep it local. And the 3rd house in astrology, which is a little lesser known, but was one of those things that stopped me in my tracks when I found out at a lecture years ago, is the 3rd house is the house of the goddess. The 3rd house is the house of, it's the opposite of the 9th house. The 9th house is churches and religious organizations and sort of dogma. The 3rd house is the house of direct experiential knowing of your spirituality. And I feel like for us to be moving through at the end of the year with the 3 and everything you just said, and everything that I feel like is held in like the 3rd house of each of our charts is something that I think is going to be like almost the 3rd house feels like the medicine, like the thing to curate and cleave to over definitely the next year. So as you were saying, those were just more like pings, psychic downloads. But in terms of just, the astrology, the map of it all, again, the pattern recognizing is me and every neurodivergence most fun thing to do. It's why I love astrology.
Samesies.
So every year I'm like reading the astrology, but I'm also looking at the patterns and I'm like, oh, and I started to notice a few months ago, I was like, this is the first end of the year where we don't have a retrograde or an eclipse carrying us from one year into the next since like 2017. So like we had like the Cancer Capricorn eclipses, and those were, fun times during the holiday seasons for a lot of us. Then we had like Mercury retrograde, a Venus retrograde, a Mars retrograde. We were like just in every end of the year. I was like, ooh, that's kind of like soupy, like a little unclear or time to pull back. And we're going to be wrapping up by the time this comes out. Our Mercury retrograde will have wrapped for the holiday season. We'll be in a little bit of a shadow, but December feels really joyful and bright. And not a time, again, like anyone who's been here listening to me for a minute knows we don't like go full gung-ho on the new year until the spring equinox, your season and Aries season. But it does feel like, it feels very like twinkly light, like fairy light, like Christmas light energy to me, like warm and exciting and energizing. And I was just pulling up the chart for the end of the year, and it's so much Sagittarius energy. It's Mercury in Sag, it's Mars in Sag, it's Venus in Sag, and Sag is so like the visionary. Sag can always see the bright side of things. Sag really reveals to us truths and just pulls us up. Like gives us that 10,000 foot perspective again. And Sag is laughter, and Sag is just, I feel like, connecting back into spirit in a beautiful way, and the feeling like inspired in spirit. So I was like, oh, that's really, really fun. And that joy, Sag to me is that like the invincible spirit, like that resilient, buoyant energy, like those old blow up clowns, and you just like punch them and get right back up. That's freaking Sag. I'm like, you throw a brick at Sag, they're like, I'm building a house, bitch. They're like, get knocked down, I get up again. Chumbawamba, like tub thumping is my theme song. And so I think for all of us, like this year, we're going to leave it like that year did it to us. That year tried.
Yeah.
And we're like so joyful. And it was my last thing I'll say about this is I started the year by doing a private, like members only call in my community to be like, hey, this is a really intense year. And we're starting to really come up against like the face of fascism. And like you said, the threads of democracy are feeling a little bit, they're dangling a little bit. And I remember just reading this really cool report, and this woman, Dr. Ho, did a whole lecture on this. But it was like one of the biggest things. It was like, here's ways to combat fascism in your everyday life. Dress fun, bright colors, be a silly ass goose. That's why I love what's happening in Portland. I'm like, be silly, be whimsical, and joy, just joy, and not like acquiescing, not obligating to things in advance. Like just being like, no, because there is something about like the joyful and creative spirit that cannot be tamed. It's ungovernable. And it's also, we need that to figure out new paths forward. So when you said everything about 3, I was like, hell yes. I hope everyone listening to this just like lets that lock in their aura and their energetic field and just run with that for the month.
You know, first of all the praise you just gave Sag, I want to just say as a Sag moon, I received that for my own self. I was like, we actually are the life of the party, huh? Like we actually really are that girl, huh? Like
I get in so much trouble with Sag placements. Like me and Sag placements, I'm like, honey, get the bail money because like we're
It's so true. And as you were talking about that, like connecting the 3 and the energy of like celebration and creativity, it feels not only like cathartic, but it feels necessary. It feels like a way for us to take back our power, because I really experience like for us to do the things we were talking about earlier, like, you know, this idea of like the satirical marionette show, or like, I also imagine it as like a one woman show where she's singing her swan song and she's like letting it all out, belting that tune. Like it is catharsis, but it is rebellion. Like to be creative in a capitalist world that like wants to commodify every single thing about you and just receive your money, like teach you to make money, to take it away from you. Like the best, most creative thing that you can do, the most rebellious thing that you can do is to lean into your whimsy, is to honor the absolute whimsy of who, and look at us. Look at our whimsical sleeves, we are 2 whimsical hoes up in this bitch. And that is it. That's the medicine, is like what I really feel is this like grassroots rebellion that begins
100%.
in our hearts, extends into our homes, extends to our immediate community. And we are feeling lit up. We are feeling excited to invest in local businesses and small businesses. And like, you know, last year we were so busy. It was so hard to do like neighbor gifts. We always like to do gifts for our neighbors at the holidays. And this year it's been top of mind for me. Like I've been planning my neighbor gifts since 3 months ago because I find joy in it. And I want to connect to my neighbors. And there are new people moved in on our street in the last couple of months. And I want them to know that, I almost said my address. I want them to know at my house that there are people that live there that care about them, that will go and check on their dog, that will go and make sure their thermostat's turned down, or will go. Like I want my neighbors to know that I love them. I want my community to know that I love them. I want my small business owners in Phoenix to know that I love them. I mean, the culture of Phoenix, I got to say, like I have been diving into it. I love Phoenix. I've lived here for 12 years and I don't get tired of it. Like I love investing in my local community. And I feel the call to do that more than ever. And how easy when we're already boycotting the majority of big box stores that don't deserve our time and energy anyway.
It's a win-win-win.
It's a win-win-win-win-win-win. But it's that rebellion. It's the rebellion that like we will no longer accept. We've seen what we're no longer willing to accept, and we're choosing to respond to it through whimsy and joy and connection and communication. And that is divine. It feels juicy. It lights me up. Like I've been thinking to myself, like, you need to smile more while you're having this conversation. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not smiling. I'm on fire. Like I feel it from the inside of me and it feels good.
because it's whimsical, but it's rebel energy. And it's really like what we need right now, and everything. It's the burning shit down. But like you said, the whimsy and the joy is what's needed in that. And I feel like for me, one of the most like rebellious and beautiful things that I've gotten to do over the past few months is like, I love hearing about you being in Phoenix, and I live in Manhattan. And like one of my most rebellious things is I walk around and I spread joy around the city. Like it's dollar bills at the club, like it's confetti at a birthday party. Like I literally walk around the city, like I tip exorbitantly. I drop compliments around. They're for free. I'm silly. I'm whimsical. I'm open, and I learned that a lot. Like my Gemini rising Leo father, that's one of his superpowers, and he just makes people laugh, makes people feel good. But I feel like the past few months, I'm like, oh, as we get more and more like in the screen realm, right? And living in these alternate, very like siloed universes. I was like, oh, that is by design. Like there is a power in that from people who want to have power over us, like to keep us really isolated and disconnected. And one of the reasons like I even started doing moon work and circle work a few years ago was I was like, we have to practice like connection and vulnerability. And just like, it's so easy to hide behind the phone screen, to, numb out the Netflix, Instacart, Uber Eats. Like, and listen, I love all those modern conveniences from time to time, but there is something about just going out and having a conversation, complimenting someone, connecting, asking a question. It doesn't have to be super profound. And that's why people want people to feel this conversation. Like some people are going to be galvanized into being a full on like activist. Some people are out there, in the streets doing the organizing, mobilizing work. But we all have a role in this revolution, and it can really just start from like within, like figuring out, okay, like, where am I ready to like release some of this programming? Where am I like ready to think about things differently? And this concept of community, I've been talking about it for years, but even I am surprised this past year where I'm like, oh no, it's about community. Like when SNAP benefits got pulled in November, I was like, I really swear to God, they thought people were going to be rioting, looting the streets, and they were going to be so excited to like martial law, like these heathens out here, like. But I was like, no, people stepped the fuck up. People were like, hey, you want a grocery buddy? I got you. Like food banks had outpourings of donations, and like, oh, it makes me emotional. But I was like,
me too.
Holy shit. I'm like, this is like the real community energy. Like people in my neighborhood, like fancy ass restaurants had baskets of food out, like pasta and stuff. Just like, take it, no questions asked. And I was like, that's so fucking cool. And I'm like, I live in like Soho. Like it's like people like it could be a little like bougie down here. And I'm like, look at this. Like everyone like wants to help, wants to join forces. And I've always been a big advocate for supporting small businesses because I thought it was cute. And as someone who has owned small businesses, both my parents, work for themselves. I always thought it was like really nice to do. Like this is nice and it's like heartwarming. But this past year, again, I was like, oh, no, this is necessary now because now some of these bigger businesses are taking the money that we have given them. They're not paying their people. They're supporting like some bootlicking, like techno-fascist takeover stuff.
Louder,
and I'm like,
babe.
oh,
Louder.
Now I'm like, oh, this isn't just cute. I want to be like, I tell everyone this holiday season, I told my dad like a few months ago, I was like, Dad, everyone is boycotting Amazon and Target. And he goes, who? And I go, that's the energy. I don't know if you're being shady. Nope. My dad has never given $1 to Target or Amazon. And I'm like,
that's what's up.
Okay, you're my goal. I might not totally like be as hyper like non-consumer as you, but that is my goal. And I think about the astrology, we're talking about some of the big things that happened in 2025 that we got like a taste for. That we're going to be going deeper into this year. And then for the next decade or so, we have Pluto in Aquarius, which is everything you said, bringing things up to the surface, bringing the rock up, showing us where we are ready to evolve or die, bitches. And especially in the realm of Aquarius, like taking care of each other, power to the people, the astrology of the French Revolution, Haitian Revolution. But, those weren't like nice, airy fairy times. So there's intensity there, right? And we also have to kind of feel like we're going to have to hit a sort of a moral rock bottom to get enough people on board to realize like the status quo ain't cutting it anymore. And the people in power aren't going to come and save us. It has to happen from us. So Pluto and Aquarius, like, okay, that's happening. But then the Uranus and Gemini of it all, Gemini rules all the three things: communications, connection, media, neighborhoods. just talking, like click,
Yeah.
clack, connecting, yapping.
Yes.
So like this conversation and everything about the small business shopping, what I love about astrology is when I get overwhelmed or I am but merely human. Like I get overwhelmed, I get inundated, I get like exhausted. I'm
Yeah.
like, my head's spinning. I'm trying to raise, a toddler and a baby. And I'm like, what am I doing today? I will take it back to the astrology time and time again. It just is there. It's the assignment.
Yeah.
And I invite everyone to think about what Uranus in Gemini, like Gemini is also silliness. Gemini is the mischief maker. Gemini is so unserious, but serious at the same time.
Yes.
And Gemini questions everything. But why? Like a little kid, but why? Who said?
Why?
Like, why?
Yes.
Why? And so I just invite, the archetype of that is too broad. It's too wide to, sum up in a conversation here. But I invite people to see where they could bring in their own Uranus, their disruptor, rebel, innovator, table turner, and like put that, like tune that to Gemini energy.
Yes.
And just see how that shifts things. Like, right. Even if it's just a feeling. Cause I know for me, when I go talk to my local coffee cart guy, Mustafa, in the morning, like I will be like having like a dreary, I'm not a morning person all the time. I'll be like, oh, so dreary. I go get my coffee from him. He says I look pretty. We talk about his family. We talk about the weather, the Yankees, whatever. And I leave and I'm like, oh, Uranus and Gemini. I feel lighter just from having that connection, right? So what is this bringing up for you? We talk about like Uranus and Gemini. Like what are some things that are, I know I could see your field.
I love that you can actually see it. That's so fun. Everything you're saying, first of all, this is why I love you. And I've known since our first conversation, like there is a true ethical alignment here, which I think is not always shared, especially like not just in the spiritual community, which I think we found actually to be quite divided. Like I think that's been shocking too, to be like, oh, sorry, you're so far left, you're all the way right again. Like you lost yourself, babe.
Horseshoe.
You lost the plot. Yes, exactly. Lost the plot there. But, even when you're talking about this, I'm feeling so aligned with everything you're saying, because like shopping small is not just like a thing that we can do that's nice and whatever. It's the medicine. It is how we pour our energy and resources back into the spaces that we want to see flourish and grow.
Yeah.
It literally because money is but energy, and energy
100%
flows where your intention and attention goes. We all know it. We know the nursery rhyme of spirituality. So we need to take that energy and we need to plug it into the places that we want to blossom and grow. And I think what we're understanding too is like, I think historically people have been like, small businesses are overpriced. Girl, look at the cost of putting your money into the big boxes. It is killing us. It's killing us. We're getting our first trillionaire, and he's the worst one we could possibly have. So all of that to say that is also part of the rebellion. Part of the rebellion is through love. And you talked about how like, we're getting back to the astrology of like the French Revolution, the Haitian Revolution. And you're right. Those eras were not pretty. And also, we are living in a time where I personally feel that peace, call me crazy, I believe that peace is pervasive. And the example that you gave where you were like, with SNAP benefits, I thought people were going to be rioting the streets. And instead we saw small businesses and, doing food drives, like giving discounts, like small businesses that are already struggling, bending over backwards to extend themselves into community. Like we are actually seeing that we love each other.
Oh,
we do.
Hell yes.
We love each other. And it is that love that will carry us into the next era. It is that Aquarian energy that says, love thy neighbor. It is the curiosity of the Gemini that will support us out of an era of judgment into an era of that childlike enchantment and wanting to understand. And it is those mentalities that will literally heal us. But it also requires that we, who have literal microphones in front of our faces, keep talking about it. And it is also necessary for each person listening, not to put another thing on your plate, guys, sorry about that, but we are handing you the microphone. Start to have these conversations in your communities. Start to bring these experiences into your circles. Start to have the conversations, because you actually have so much more power than you know and you realize. And that's what I want people to really understand, is that you listening to this right now, I'm talking to you. I'm literally talking to you. You are powerful. You are important. You are on this earth during this transformational season, during this powerful transition for a reason. We need you. And if you're here and you're listening and you like us and you haven't turned this off, it's because you are a part of the beauty and the love and the change that is coming. And I don't feel, and maybe the astrology contradicts this, but I don't feel that it's going to be a fight. I feel that it's going to be a politics built on love. I'm currently reading that book by Marianne Williamson right now in preparation to have her on my show next season. I'm really excited. And I believe it. I truly believe that we are rebuilding the world in the image of love. And, shadow work is about loving the parts of yourself that are in misalignment. And so everything you're saying about leaning into the curiosity of Gemini, leaning into the neighborly, community, loving, progressive energy of the Aquarius, it all feels so in resonance and relevance. And I think the numerology entirely supports it as well. And it just feels, frankly, good. Even as I've watched things happen that have broken my heart, I truly, truly know in the core of me that it is happening for us. Everything that is happening for us. And we are also a part of that. And so I just
absolutely.
I'm calling listeners forward as I call my own self forward every day to do the work too. Let's keep loving each other. Let's keep putting our intention and our energy sources into the places that we want to see grow. Let's keep having these conversations. Let's use our voices. Let's ask our question. Let's be curious. Let's love our neighbor. Let's lean into this energy and surrender to it. Surrender to it. I think it's going to be beautiful.
I think it's going to be beautiful. And this is a great, kind of teed me up for a perfect way to close out the conversation. And how I view a lot of this, I am a ridiculously hopeful, optimistic person. And I keep it grounded in reality. And just like you, I've gone through shit, right? I've gone to hell and back, but I will still be wasn't that fun? Didn't I learn something? I had the best snacks along the way. And now I totally know how to get to hell, guys, if you need a shortcut. I am the person who I'm yes, I have my Sag stellium. So I feel that. And the past few years have just validated for me there's a big awakening. The more that you're getting comfortable with discomfort, the more that you can do this work on yourself, the work that we do in the collective, the shadow work, the healing work, the community work, the love work. Then it is going to feel easier. And it's not just going to feel easier because you're perceiving that as that. But I think about everything we do as a prayer, right? Like you said, the energy, the nursery rhyme, it's so true. Where our energy goes, where our attention goes, where energy goes, more of that flows. And what's so cool about this moment in time, what gets me so hyped that I have a freaking microphone, during this time of life, for everyone, I'm if you're listening right now, everyone was born on purpose with purpose. That is the hill I will freaking die on. I put my whole life, my whole career on that. And everything is a prayer. We all know collective prayer works. We all know collective meditation works. We've seen the studies. This is nothing new. I'm not making this up. More people than ever in the history of the world could have access to understanding astrological energy now, right? We have apps that pull things for us. We have endless podcasts and Substack and, whatever, all the things, books and websites that can tell us, hey, we're in Pluto and Aquarius. And the people in the French Revolution, maybe a select people knew, right? The Protestant Reformation before that, no, probably not a lot of people were talking astrology. But in each of those moments, the power went from the few to the many. That just happened. That was inevitable. That happened, honey. We printed the Bible and it was hey, you don't need to go to a priest. Hey, a king wasn't deigned by God. He puts his pants on one leg at a time. This is just a Joe Schmo. French Revolution, let them eat cake. Well, psych, not actually. But they didn't know what was going on. They couldn't work conscious of that energy. Yeah. So Aquarius and Gemini, both of these are air signs. And air sign is all about energy and our thoughts and our energetic field. Yeah. And I'm it's so cool that Pluto and Aquarius is ancient technology brought into the future. So wow, isn't it cool that we know this astrology and we can work with it consciously, where everything we're doing is a prayer, is a meditation, through our actions, through our thoughts, through our like our vision boards for ourselves, but the collective. Because right now, like air is thoughts to things, air is shifting like rapidly. And that is another reason why I think I always use my like foreboding but like the powers that be want to keep us really distracted and divided and feel like, oh, we have more, oh, me versus you, this versus that. And I'm like, no, like, because they know if we all be vibing in this unity consciousness and we're all like loving or at the very least like peaceful towards each other, like game over. So this is why I am so passionate about like literally every person I talk to. I talk about the astrology and the vibes. Because I'm like, even if it just plants a seed, I'm like, how cool would it be to have a record amount of people working consciously with this energy? And that's why what you were saying is something I wholeheartedly believe that we have like the potential to tap into, that this can be more joyful, more easeful, more beautiful than like maybe we can imagine in this moment.
Yeah. It really does feel like it's built on love. And it is everything you were saying. I was like, I felt so ignited by that. It is so true that our ability to be conscious of it is what allows us to use it effectively. Like the efficacy is born of the awareness. And so we are, and that's why I think we've both pointed back to the listener today, like, hey guys, we're talking to you. Like you are responsible. You're here. And that responsibility is not going to feel the way that responsibility has felt. It feels empowering.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like dense and suppressive. It's like, whoa, I get to create the future with my love. I get to create the future in the vision of what I desire it to be. And, as I know we're concluding our conversation, but I would just love to say that, next year for the collective is a collective year 1. It is the beginning of a new 9-year cycle. And 1 is the number of initiation. It is the number of beginning. And it's also the number of exploring. I like to think of our 9-year cycles as being like we climb a mountain. And 9 is when we get to the top and we go, I did it. The journey is done. And what have you gained along the way? So I really encourage you to explore, your personal numerology is also deeply affects this, but the collective numerology suggests that we should look back at the last 9 years and say, what have I learned? What from the last 9 years would I like to bring with me? And what would I like to leave here in the past? And we use the intentions of what we feel connected to and what we desire to continue to nourish and foster to build our future. And I think the things that we're talking about today, the idea of, bringing old world technology into the modern era to connect more profoundly, to invest our energy and intention with more focus and heart and optimism. All of these things we get to take with us. Yes, there are things we're leaving behind. And maybe for you personally, there are people or things that you've cherished that no longer fit into the life that you're building for yourself. But I want people that are listening to really know and hear that you are expanding, you are ascending, and you are growing. And you get to decide what that growth looks like. You have so much power within you. And I feel confident to speak for both of us to say that Maddie and I both will continue to remind you of your power and when you can use it and when the portals are open. And this is me saying the portal's open, babes. The portal is open, babes.
Babes, hop on in. The portal's open.
Sorry for anyone listening in the UK for that. I apologize. That sounded like hate speech, frankly. It was like, what am I doing? But I want you guys to know the portal is open and we are about to have so much fun. And I would love to continue this conversation next month and like explore what begins, how we can really own and explore the whole of 2026 and just take it month by month and explore those themes and use that energy as fodder and fuel for what we're here to build. And we're about to have fun. So in my last words for December are be expressive, be connected, be courageous, and just take stock of what are you ready to leave behind? What are you excited to bring with you? And what are you excited to create? Because you are here for a divine purpose and we are walking it together. Like every person that is listening to these words, myself that is speaking it, and everyone here that's listening, we are in this unified journey and it feels beautiful and it feels good. And I'm honored to be here with you. And I'm honored to be here with you, Maddie. And so I just want to thank you for having me here today to have this conversation because I had a great time. We didn't giggle as much as last time, but I feel lit up.
I feel lit up because today we're like half like preachers, sermons on the mount, but like witchy version. And we're on the soapbox, but we're also, because we're really, lit up. And I so appreciate, these are the conversations that I crave, that I love my astrology work, my intuitive work. I love my memes. I love us. But like, this is why I am here. I know that like beyond a shadow of a doubt in this moment in time is to remind people of that. And everything you just said, you said before, we are so powerful. And I really want to leave people with that. Like, you are so powerful, whether it's with how you spend your dollar. Like, these mother effers wouldn't have money if we weren't giving it to them. I just want to remind everyone of that.
We made these billionaires.
We made these billionaire, okay, babies.
And we can fucking take them down. That's what's up.
And we can take them down, okay? And like these effing politicians, they work for us, honey. They are our employees. We are the bosses. And we are powerful. Like, all the things that you've been trying to, disconnect from, standing up, being seen, being in your pleasure, being in your power. Like, if it wasn't so potent, if it wasn't so threatening, they wouldn't try to make you scared of it. They wouldn't try to disconnect you from it, right? So just try
Louder,
it.
babe.
Take a little taste. Take a little taste of what it feels like to be in that, whether it's standing up for something you believe in, speaking your truth, or just shifting your perspective. And I invite you this December to embody, invoke, just like eat up with a spoon everything Zoey just shared with us. And my closing words are like, let's have some fucking fun. Let your joy make you so goddamn buoyant that like these bastards can't keep us down, and just be like, hey, we're joyful. We love each other. And this is, right? Like, this is the army that we are in. This is the rebellion we are in. And I will definitely be having you back on, Zoey, because we have so much more to talk about. And this was such a good conversation for my soul.
Samesies.
So I hope everyone listening, took something. Definitely make sure we'll put all of Zoey's info in the show notes. Go, follow her, interact with her. If you want more of this in your day-to-day, and trust me, you're gonna want more of this in your life.
Thank you so much for having me here, Maddie. And just want to say, let's end December with parties, with art, and with orgasms. Let's do it.
All my favorite things.
Pleasure.
All my favorite things.
Pleasure on pleasure, pleasure on pleasure. Let's do it. Thanks for having me again, Maddie. Love you. And love to everyone listening.
Do you love getting your Cosmic RX for the week here and want more? Make sure to sign up for our premium subscription so you can get exclusive access to bonus podcast episodes, all of my astrology info for the month ahead, and live new and full moon calls to help you manifest your dream life with an intentional international community of other cosmic baddies. Sign up through our link in show notes. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you want to know more about CosmicRX, head on over to thecosmicrx.com. And if you really love this show, I'd love it if you left a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. I super love hearing from you and reading your reviews. All right, you cosmic baddie, tune in next week. And until then, remember, love yourself fully, work your magic, and take no shit.